Hello everybody, very tired Caleb here. I've had a very eventful last 3 days, which means there's a fair amount of work done here at the place. So let's go ahead and start with the first project of the week. This beautiful beadboard wall that was recently constructed. So let's get into that, and I'll be right back with you. It is looking much better now. So first thing I want to walk up to is a little access panel here for our plumbing in the shower area. This whole area that I put in, the entire thing, all that wood filling, there are no real visible seams. It's a very seamless thing now, which is quite nice looking if I do say so myself. I cannot say enough good things about the Abitron wood epox product. That stuff is so good, stands so smooth. Actually, some of this board here, because there was that gap, is actually filler. There's actually not a bead at this little end right here. But you know, if I didn't point it out, you wouldn't be able to tell. As for our little corner problem, no problem there anymore. A little bit of caulk and we're all good there. The other update is the fact that both outlets in this wall and the switch itself are now both functional. So we'll get into that room here in a minute. And I finally have the corner on here, which is starting to look quite nice. The reason it's not been primed though is it does need a little bit of sanding just to get the flush feel. And I believe I'm gonna go ahead and router this corner back down, either put a round over or a chamfered edge on the corner of this. Haven't quite decided on that. Depends on what router bits I actually have in the little kit that I have. But that looks quite nice. Of course, the ceiling being exposed doesn't help as far as the ends of all these boards, but at some point that will be a drywalled ceiling and all of this will go away and look like a big, beautiful, wonderful room. I mean, look at it. It just makes the room feel so much more complete. This room itself was an absolute disaster when I first started working in it. And now I feel like I'm actually making some real progress. Now on to the next project, the main project of this week. I finally did get the tile I ordered before Christmas in the mail Thursday night, so which means I was able to start Friday on the tile job in the shower. As you can see, the reason it's special is because it has that little rounded edge at the bottom, which kicks the water back towards the pan and drains. So that was the big waiting period. So that's why I had to wait for them. I really wanted something like this. These are pretty common in this era. So to be as authentic as possible, I had to wait for the right supplies. But now all the supplies are required. Let's get at it, shall we?
Not expecting that to go well.
What did you think was gonna happen?
I don't know, it was gonna break.
That's the beauty of a drill press.
I don't know. He made it a hole.
Smooth edges too.
Nice.
Now that we've got some power, let's start with the power reveal. Nice, bright shower. Man, it's looking good. See, we've got a light now. Of course, it's just a temporary one until I can get everything smoothed out and ready to go for paint up there. Man, this is starting to look really good. We've got the sanitary cove tiles here at the bottom. Black gloss, which I think looks really nice against the border on the floor. For the field, it's all just subway tile. And at the very top, we have those really pretty crown molding tiles and these little pencil tiles. And these black tiles, this black strip at the top was kind of a last minute addition. I wanted to cap it off with something that was a bit more contrasty, especially since there's so much contrast down here on the floor. And if I step back, you can see the kind of the whole picture at once. And man, is it going to be a very, very beautiful shower. I'm just really ecstatic at how this is all turning out. Not to even mention the fact that since we've had this place, it's been a battle to get a toilet, to get sinks, to get water all, to get power, and now being able to wash myself in my own house. I know it sounds trivial, but it's a huge milestone and one I have been busting my butt to get to. And it's not been the cheapest project. I thought it was going to be a huge amount cheaper than it actually turned out to be. But when I do anything in this house, I try to get the supplies that look correct, that are correct, that at least feel period. And of course, none of what I've got going on here is particularly Victorian, let's say, but neither is this entire area. I mean, this is an area that was added into the house in probably the late teens, early 20s, and this really does fit that aesthetic. I think it looks absolutely stunning. For those who don't know, all these little clips that are everywhere are actually holding the tiles together so that there's no, gap or ridge or raised edge anywhere on these tiles. They're all flat flush. It keeps them all together. The correct term is actually lippage, so there is no lippage on here. So if you ran your hand down it, it would be smooth. And if we go up here to the top of the tile, we can actually see the pencil molding and the crown molding up here are actually 45 from the edge. That's because that will continue on this wall. And if we come to the other side of the shower, I've done the same thing over here. So this will all wrap. What exactly I do when those pieces get over here, I'm not exactly sure yet. They are unpainted or unglazed on the edges, and they are hollow, both of them. So I'll have to find some weird way of ending them. As for the other tiles, this is what I'll be ending it with. It's just a cap that this brand Curdy sells. It's just white plastic. But honestly, I can't find anything much better than this. And while I thought for a point there I was going to just use the beadboard, it isn't pulled out enough to do that. So it wouldn't really end the tiles very well. And again, the tiles aren't glazed on the edge, especially when I have to cut them. So there has to be a nice cap here. Kind of the same thing on this edge. This is actually the tongue for the tongue groove of the beadboard. And I'm just going to lay that cap here, and then all the tiles will end into that. And it should look amazing. And with all of that done, that means sometime late next week, I will be enjoying my first beautiful needle shower here in the house. The needle shower project is definitely one of those projects that's gotten me really, really excited, because while doing all these aesthetic things on the front of the house with the Mansard roof and all that are extremely rewarding once I finally get pieces and stuff going on. And it helps this place not look like a ruin anymore, because current day it still kind of does. At least from the front, from the back, not as much. But of course is still ongoing work with that, but it's hard to do much on the lift when it's, in the negatives or, single digits or the teens. For those in Europe, all of those numbers are below 0 in Celsius, so it's just cold, put it that way. But I think this project's been so exciting for me because not only is it another utility that we can use here, like a toilet or a sink or the washing machines, it's one of those pieces of the house where I get to experience history. Again, not a lot of people have needle showers. In fact, not a lot of people back then had them either. They were a rarity when they first came out. They've been a rarity for their entire existence. I suppose it's not every day for most people that they get to actually use a piece of history, to be able to experience something like the people of the past would have experienced. And I know this is plumbing history, but still, it's interesting, right? You know, is it a good shower? I don't even know. It could be terrible. I mean, the name alone doesn't sound terribly appetizing. Who wants to have a shower of needles? Not me. But a needle shower, who knows? We will find out soon enough. So looking forward a bit past the shower, you might have seen I've actually started a little wall here. That's because a door will be going here. And here's the door in question. It's a pretty good looking door. Still got the original hardware. And this is the door that's actually from that spot. So it'll be the one returning to almost exactly where it came from. So of course with all of its paint stripped and looking a lot closer to those doors. And there was actually a door in this area. It was just moved back to here. You might have seen these tiles popping out, these black borders on either side. This was actually for a door. You actually see a piece of old beadboard in there. Most of this was really rotten, so it got ripped out quite a while ago. So I actually have to chip out these tiles here and some of the surrounding ones, and right here as well, to complete this border and go ahead and redo all of these diamonds. I'll just be using these tiles that I have to redo what's missing here. I also really need to get in and do a very, very deep clean on this entire area because it's pretty gross. And these tiles kind of contrast really hard with these. And I don't want that to remain that way. I've actually seen people using like finish sanders, so like the larger square sanders on tile like this. These things are really thick, so I don't think it would ever cause a problem, but I've actually seen people refinish these type of floors with this, and I might need something that aggressive because of the amount of staining on these floors. Of course, they're in pretty good shape, but there are areas like here and over here where somebody had left paint buckets for who knows how long. And I've tried just about everything you could think of to get a lot of the staining off of this. And there are just areas that are slightly discolored. And don't get me wrong, I'm not entirely against slightly discolored, but if we can get this all looking great again and seal it so it will stay eternally beautiful, that I think is the better goal. And then correcting things for where I've had to move things to accommodate a shower in what was a vet clinic. Although the vet clinic did always have a bathroom. There was a toilet back here, actually kind of right here is where the drain for the toilet is. About right in that corner. And there was a sink against a wall here. Or actually probably about where that pipe is there. So yes, I know, all a bit of a mess at the moment, but that's mostly because I've got a bunch of tools in this room right now at the moment. I mean, I've been doing electrical in here, I've been doing carpentry with the walls, I've been doing concrete, I've been doing plaster, I've been doing tile work, and I'm sure I'm missing a few in there. So, lots of tools, not a lot of space, but as I can get things cleaned up, the tools for those individual tasks can leave this room and go back into a deeper storage. Special things like the tile tools. I don't do tile very often. In fact, I've never done tile on a wall in my entire life. That's the very first one. And actually, this is my third floor I've ever done, so, and the second one you guys saw me do as well for the bathroom upstairs. So that's going to do it for us here this week, guys. I hope you guys have an incredible week. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a pretty good one this week. You know, fingers crossed. So as always, guys, thank you guys so much for the support, for coming back and wanting to watch these videos where things happen way too slowly and cost way too much money. But always at the end of it end up quite beautiful. So that's it for this time. I'll see you all again next week. Until then, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all then.